All right, my fellow agents, welcome back. It is I, X7, your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. It is also Monday. We're going to talk about a cartoon series, the penultimate episode of Avengers United They Stand, because next week there's 4 episodes left after this one, and we're just going to wrap them all up because the last one's it's a two-parter, and I just feel like we should talk about it because I don't hate the show, but I'm getting to be a little over it. But still, it's not bad, and it does show Vision and Tigra and Wanda, sorta, but it's not bad. It's just not very good either. Having said all that, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this show, these episodes here. They're pretty well done. At least Namor looks better than he has the first time he's looked this good since 1966 when he had his own cartoon series by Gantry Lawrence. Go figure. All right, before we get too much further into this, Avengers, assemble. So we begin by going to Atlantis. The surface world is having earthquakes, and the Avengers are sent out to see what's going on. Now, this is in England. There you go. I forget what the reporter's name is, but Big Ben falls down. A newly redesigned double-decker bus. Shouldn't they be red, even though it is set in the semi-near future at the time? It's probably in the past now. There's Big Ben falling down. I still think that Ant-Man outfit looks pretty cool until he puts the armor on. So off they go. They're flying into the Atlantic, and Tigra is afraid of water. Now, we're going to talk about that in a bit. So she's not happy about it. We do learn a little bit about her. We have not got a Tigra-centric episode at all, or particularly a Falcon-centric episode. But, they only had 13. So maybe if they'd have had another 13, we'd have gotten some more character development. But we get a little bit here. So they're looking at where all the earthquakes are, the epicenters are. And then Jan gets sent to Europe to, do something. And they talk, then that's where we're introduced to Namor, who's, Marvel's first mutant, chronologically speaking, in publication history. And Toro was the second, at least, that we knew about. Be that as it may, off Jan goes. They're in the water, and they've got their semi-cool water. That's still a better costume. Tiger. I don't know what the Falcons is supposed to be. I mean, there it is. Falcon Joe, Condor Joe, Eagle Ken. So Falcon Sam, it works. Tiger's got a little ears. It's a cute, but she doesn't have anything else on. I mean, just her mask. So her fur is going to be wet, very, very wet. And as a cat owner, wet cat fur it's not as stinky as dog fur. I mean, dog fur is not stinky. It's just, it's got a unique smell. And so does wet cat fur. So she freaks out underwater. And Sam gets zapped. The Atlanteans show up, and they're the blue-skinned ones. So Tiger gets captured. Hank and the Vision talk. Zaps. And Namor shows up. Hawkeye, of course, mouths off at him. I don't even know what Hawkeye's scuba gear is supposed to be, but they all have points. Wanda's still has. That is not going to help make you swim through the water easier. Vision doesn't need any. So course, the Visions gets a little annoyed because Namor, being the ladies' man that he um, is very responsive to Wanda. And there, I thought that was Warlord Krang, but it's not. It's somebody else. Krang. They accuse him of being a half breed because he's not truly Atlantean. I mean, one of the things about this show is that they act like the viewer already knows all of the prehistory of these characters, Namor and the Vision and Wonder Man, sort of. But who they are and what their relationships are. Tigra actually talks about becoming Tigra, like right here, because she has a heart to heart with Sam because she thinks she's useless underwater. And Hank talks to Namor and says, we've worked together in the past. He's like, we've also fought against each other. Thank God he doesn't have any armor on. They gave him armor in the 90s, probably by this time after John Byrne started just writing the strip or the book instead of illustrating it. They gave him this ridiculously spiky armor like everyone had, but at least here he's just in his trunks. Now, I do think he should probably have a little more on than just his trunks, but when he's out fighting, he is the most maneuverable in the least amount of. We're lucky he's wearing clothes at all. So Sam has a heart to heart with Tigra, who says, ever since she's become Tigra, she's been afraid of water, which doesn't make any sense. There are many cats that are known to enjoy water, including tigers. We can see them jumping in there and splashing around like they're 600-pound kittens. And I've seen cats that get into water tubs and splash about and like it. So but a tiger of all things, they're well known to enjoy taking a bath in humid parts of the world, the humid parts of the world they live in. But cats on water, go figure. My orange cat would just look at me when I tried to squirt her for misbehaving with her sister. She's like, "Is that all you got?" So, which is pretty much what Namor finds out who the villains are who betrayed him to Atuma. Hawkeye pins him to the wall. So they kind of have a fight, but not the knockdown drag out that you'd see with Aquaman and Orm or Black Manta later on in the Justice League, or probably a similar time. But he does punch him right into his dynamo earthquake thing, and now everyone else helps him. The Vision is running out of solar power because he's been underwater too long, which you'd think he'd have stored up have a storage, or they'd have something with them to give him more energy, but they don't. Off they go. Tigra shows up. She's apparently conquered her fear of being in the water when she's not wet. The dynamo gets thrown into a lava flow underwater, and I don't know if they're implying that something is going on between Sam and Tigra, which wouldn't be the worst thing, but they're friends anyway. It doesn't look like she's got on. She does have on some gauntlets, but maybe she's got on some kind of plastiskin. They do look bigger than normal. I mean, so perhaps she is in a suit. There's no reason for you to bring it. Jan says everything's good. They ask Namor if he wants to help. He says no, but he'd like to have a consultation or a meeting with Wanda later on. And the Vision's like, really? But they're recharging him, and he looks like he's getting a suntan. They're all laughing. And then we see that the Ultron is annoyed that nobody can defeat the Avengers for him, so he's going to do it on his own. Next, we go to Shooting Stars. This introduces the menace of the Zodiac, which, if you know the history of Zodiac, you know who's underneath the. Although I thought he was Ares in the comic book, but we'll find out here in the future. Hence the Shooting Stars. But the sign of the Zodiac, which will give him all the power, and Taurus is running it. So there's the Avengers headquarters. I just really like that. I mean, it's its own. It's like 2 blocks. So it's a big. It's not just a mansion. It's designed. I mean, look at that. Of all the things about the redesigns, this one really works. Sikorsky, whatever his name is annoyed, but off he goes because they're shooting. There's a something is shooting down satellites and they're crashing into civilian places. Tiger's still on the ground. They've got their video game outfits on, and the vision helps that. One of them, they bump it along. Wanda makes it go sideways, but suddenly she faints. Taurus is kind of annoyed, but not too annoyed. They're trying to clear the skies, clear for the ascension. There's Taurus. He looks a bit more formidable than he did in the comic book. I'll give him that. The zodiac sign is a huge history. It's it's very complicated. So I'm glad that they didn't really go into it too much. That's Stark's satellite, Tony Stark. So guess who's going to show up? Iron Man. See, look at them in their regular costumes. They look good. I believe that's Pisces, Aquarius. I don't even know who they're supposed to be. There he is. Tony Stark. He'll make you feel he's the coolest Zek with the heart of steel. Oh, I wish I'd have played that. Dang. Didn't even think about it. When we get to the Gantry Lawrence episodes of Iron Man, you'll hear it too much. So they're in their space suit. These are their armored space suits. Wanda has now become. She can use her. So she's gotten stellar energy because of zapping the satellite, so she can see where things are. The Zodiac ship is cloaked. There's Scorpio. We don't even see Aries. What the hell? First sign in the Zodiac? What the hell? Falcon gets zapped. There's Pisces. No, not Pisces. Is it Pisces? Let me look here. It's male head of Gemini. Pardon me, not Gemini. Pisces does have the dual signs as well, but that's Gemini. 4 arms, 2 heads. We don't see if they have 4 legs. One would hope not. But these are definitely different zodiac characters. Although they really appeared like Defenders 50. Go read that. Maybe I'll do that as a review. Wanda and the Vision are doing something or another. Wanda sees where the cloaked Zodiac ship is, and they zap it. Pew, 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 pew. This helps Iron Man, who gets just that stuffing knocked around. He gets knocked around a lot in this, and it doesn't seem to that armor is some sturdy stuff. Iron is not gold or red, incidentally, as we all know. So Tony's the space station that has nukes on it, probably part of some sort of Star Wars thing that never worked out. Now did it? The Vision pulls it apart, turns it back. Iron Man uses his power, and they say, "Tony, what about your heart?" Because I don't know if he's got a synthetic heart or if he's got the artificial one that keeps it pumping. But I don't know at this point in time. Now everything's changed, of course. Wow, that's right out of Doctor Strangelove or How I Stopped Worrying and Learned to Love the Bomb. Ba-boom! But the Vision just turns intangible, and apparently radiation doesn't affect you when you're intangible. And Tony's fine. Vision gives Wanda a little comfort there. So even though she's entranced by Namor because the man's charming, he's a ruler. He's gonna have some charisma. She also likes the Vision, and as we'll find out in the next episode. So there's just the 5 of them, and I still don't know who this is. Maybe that's Sagittarius. I don't know. They probably said it, but Okay, so Gemini only has 2 legs, but double everything else. And Baron Ashra or Count Broken, they don't have anything to worry about. Wanda's dreaming about it. This isn't over. And then we go into another episode where she wakes up after having a flashback about Simon. So guess who this is about? They're looking for Simon finally after 8 episodes, 7 episodes of them kind of ignoring him. And off they go. They think they found him because they're looking for a certain energy signatures. and they find it, but they don't. Well, Wanda thinks she does, but she gets trapped by energy manacles. Turns out, and then she sees Simon turns into at least a vision or a hologram of Ultron, who's got a new makeover again. Very colorful. He was never this colorful in the comic book, except when he was Ultron 7 and he had the body of Omega, Omega with the Inhumans. Go read Avengers 127 and Fantastic Four 150, where Crystal marries Pietro. Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. But they free Wanda. I don't know if that's the Ant car or the Falcon car, but it zooms in and it protects him from the blast. So Wanda thinks Simon's been destroyed, but it was empty. Vision thinks to comfort her, but then doesn't. So he decides to offer himself up as bait so that the Ultron will come get him and take him to their lair and they can attack him. But we have a little moment here going on with my Vision and my Wanda. Although I don't always like saying my Vision because that's exactly what Ultron calls him. So they do give Wanda an accent here. I forget who's playing Wanda. The voice actress is Stavrola Logetis. Logothetis. Geez, that sounds Greek to me, the last name, but I don't know. She doesn't have a link, so couldn't tell you. Maybe I'll do some more research by next episode of this show. That's some head of state who doesn't say any words. The guy in the blonde and the white hair. The Vision malfunctions. I mean, I'm doing air quotes. I'm using them right, and he attacks his cohort or he attacks his partners. So the Falcon and Hawkeye have made up. I mean, they are kind of bird people. Look, Falcon's wings are not attached to him, so he looks more like Hawkman there. And why is the Vision on a sky cycle? That doesn't make any sense. He can fly. Ultron zaps him, takes him away, tries to block his brain pattern, but they use Simon's brain imprints. Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, doofus of the year. Oh, I liked him for a long time. And if we ever review Avengers comic books in a row, you'll know why. But so he wants Ant-Man or Hank, his father, Henry Pym, to come in and fix the Vision, remove Wonder Man's brain patterns. I just like those shots. And oddly enough, it looks like Ultron's in an anthill. Now, if you look at Ultron's face, it's based on, I don't remember if Roy Thomas said this, but they kind of decided to base it on Ant-Man and have an ant face. So they did change it a bit, of course, for Age of Ultron, because since Tony didn't invent Ultron, I mean, Hank Pym was in the event, was there in the MCU, but not till after Age of Ultron, right? Right, yeah. Surrounded by a force field. So they Ultron says, "I'll destroy the Vision if you don't fix it, and if you don't fix him in this amount of time, I'll kill Simon." Is that 1 hour and 99 minutes, or is some kind of metric timing that Ultron is using because Ultron? So it's supposed to be 2 hours or what? Because if it's our time, human time, that would be 1 hour 99 minutes. So that would be over 3 hours of time, because Hank's about to take another journey to the center of the Vision again. Ultron is trying to kill these other Avengers outside because he thinks they're useless. But they're not, because that's the bad guy always is too overconfident, very overconfident in his abilities, and somehow they're getting through to Simon. And the Vision doesn't want to let go of the implant that gave him the engram, the brain, those things. So we have a lot of this going on, and Ultron can't figure it out. And then Wanda frees herself, but gets zapped not with his encephalo ray, which would just put her into a coma. But Vision wakes up, and they start fighting. I mean, Ultron is not said to. I don't know if they couldn't use adamantium, but Hawkeye pierces him there and blows part of his arm off. They trip him and send him down into the crevasse. And as he's falling, he says, "You've not seen the last of me, Avengers. I'll be back." And of course, this is episode 9. He doesn't come back. This is it for Ultron. But blows up real good. And Simon is stable, so he's not dying anymore. He's still in cryogenesis or he's frozen, slowed down. The Vision Wanda thanks the Vision for doing that, and the Vision says he's part of me. So the whole brother thing here comes into play, which I believe is about to come into play in the next episode, big time. But you'll have to wait a week to find out what that is. In fact, and they fly off into the sun. So that is our 3 episodes of Avengers United They Stand. As I said, next week it'll be 4, and we'll just finish up. And I actually don't know exactly what we're going to do tomorrow. I have a feeling, and I'll put a trailer on, but if it's not the trailer that you're about to see, it'll be something. All right, it's always going to be something. So, my fellow agents, this is X7. Until our next assignment, I am signing off and phasing out.
Destroy all monsters. Orders the conclave of nations when unknown powers from outer space attack our world with gargantuan man-killers. Then the armies of our world unite. Massive armies versus mad monsters for possession of planet Earth.